I think this one's really important because I know a lot of people here have kids and don't know how to talk to kids about it. So somebody asked, what age should you speak to your children about masturbation? And I think that can be a whole, I don't know if it's necessarily an age or how you would approach it, but what are your thoughts on that?
Everyone starts that at like a different age, you know? So for me, I was younger. I was like 7 or 8. I mean, I was younger when I started to discover those things about myself. So I think just starting to have conversations with when they're younger about their bodies, and that their body, just even have the conversation that their bodies are their body. No one is allowed to touch it except for themselves, right? To start having that conversation of their body belongs to them, you know what I mean? And if anyone is trying to approach them in a way that anyone else wants to touch their body, like they always, no matter who it is, authority, whatever, they always should say no and talk to you about it. So just even starting to have conversations about this is their body, healthy ways to take care of their body, and their boundaries they should already start setting. And then just say, why you might not want someone else to touch you this way. Like it's okay for you to touch your body. It's your body. Like it's okay to do that. And when you start to see if there's like a little more curiosity, is starting to emerge into puberty, then start having this conversation. Say, you're gonna have different, as your hormones and things are changing, you're gonna have different sensations and things you feel in your body. And instead of going, and there's going to be tempted, like when they're starting dating and stuff like that too, right? They're starting to be attracted to the opposite. So, you have these desires and these urges, and it's completely a part of your hormones and reproductive stuff. And you're having conversations like that. But instead of just outwardly looking for someone else, learn and explore your body. I have a self-love ebook, the 12 Days to Self-Love. And recently a woman from the UK reached out to me and said, my daughter's starting to be curious about self-pleasure, masturbation. And I was wondering if your ebook is good for her. And I was like, well, because at first she just didn't say the self-pleasure. And I said, well, I do talk about her. So I don't know if you're comfortable with that. She's like, no, this is kind of where she is right now in her journey. So I was thinking about your book. And I was like, well, then if you're okay with those topics, then sure. And she got it for her daughter and said her daughter they wanted to print it out, loved the graphics in there, that it was such great information. And so I was like really honored that she felt like his talking to them mainly about self-love. First thing, before they even start puberty, talk to them about how to have a good relationship with themselves. And then as they're getting more puberty, then you can go, you know what, another part of self-love is self-pleasure and massaging on your body, feeling your body. And there's different things you're going to experience. And you may be curious about sex with another person, but before you even go there, like find out how you can enjoy yourself. That way you have to like scratch that itch, and do that with just anyone.
Yeah.
And try to have the conversation that way. And it's always going to be different depending on what are you already setting the tone for, like what conversations have you already had with them.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's
a bit of subject.
Yeah, it is. And you're right. Obviously, like every kid is different and they start experimenting at different ages. I was really young too. It wasn't even like I was curious. I just remember one day I just accidentally touched myself and I was like, oh, well, that felt kind of good. And so, but just from then on, I was like doing my thing. And I think you really have to pay attention to like what your child responds to, what they resonate with. And I think that's great, like your ebook and teaching about self-love first, instead of it being this purely like a scientific thing. I just had this conversation with my friend the other day, and because her daughter is getting to that age where she's like, okay, I've got to start talking to her about like periods and sex and like more in detail about things. And I was like, part of me wishes that when I was younger, if I would have just been talked to about everything sex related from more of a spiritual standpoint and like more of like the power in sexuality. And because it's this powerful thing, you don't want to just give it away and share it with everybody, and how to take care of yourself. I think had it been approached from that subject, because like, even though I didn't have sex till I was 17, I was very promiscuous. I did everything but up until that point. But I think had I really thought about things more in the sense of that's like a special gift, it's not this taboo thing, but it's like that's so special. And if I would have been kind of taught that way, I don't think I would have been as sexual with other people as early or as curious, because I would have felt okay being curious with just myself.
Bye everyone.
Bye.